obviously, great win, man. Hey, third quarter, that's our quarter. Yeah. So, hey, big plays, great job. Way to get after the football. Sweet, all the way through. Most importantly, Zach, what time is it?
For the first time ever, doing 255!
Hey, enjoy this day, enjoy this one, man. But hey, let's get in tomorrow, let's clean it up, make sure we continue to get better each and every day. So grind on 3, 1, 2, 3, grind!
Ah, yes, another victory Monday for your Dallas Cowboys. It's a 24-6 win for America's team and a welcome return to your quarterback, Dak Prescott. Welcome into Cowboys Flashback. I'm Haley Sutton from the Star here in Frisco, but let's get back out to AT&T Stadium, where head coach Mike McCarthy spoke to the media after the win over Detroit.
Mike, David Moore, Dallas Morning News. You talk about this defensive performance today, especially in the second half, and just an extension of what they've done all year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, that's really part of the fabric. You know, I feel like we've created last year, and our defense really just was tremendous here in the second half. So, and the ball extraction was obviously a huge factor in the game. I mean, really at halftime, you just look at the statistics and the way the game was going. It was an evenly played game. The big play opportunities were pretty equally distributed and executed. So, but the big plays were huge for us in the second half.
Bob Del Giorno, Fox Sports Radio, Texarkana. The game was close going in at the half. What adjustments did you make as a coach and staff to come out in the second half and be so much more productive?
Well, I'll be honest, we really just stayed the course on our scheme adjustments. My message really talked a little bit about last week. The third quarter in last week's game, and I just felt like we needed to pick up the tempo. I thought that when we went to a no-huddle offense there on that first drive there, it was obviously very productive for us. So, I think the pace of the game increased, the intensity increased, and our players did a phenomenal job delivering with the big plays.
Michael, a lot of the defensive players coming out of the Philadelphia game was talking about the standard and how they didn't live up to it and more missed tackles. Did you sense that as a motivation for them this week and see them respond to that?
Well, really, self-scout's the biggest motivation for us every week. I mean, and that's why we take the time on the front end of the week to make sure we go through it, regardless of the outcome of the last game. So that's the only way you grow. It's the only way you improve from your last contest. But also the fact of the matter is we need to continue to grow the youth of our football team. And I am just so proud of our rookies and our young players, the way, the opportunities that they've had so far this early in the season, but more importantly, how they're delivering. There's some big plays out there by young guys today. So, but yes, they had a lot of respect for Detroit's offense. I mean, this was an extremely productive offense coming in here. So, to get 6 points at halftime and hold them to no points in the second half was huge for us.
The Cowboys are now 5-2 on the season, still in third in the NFC East after the Giants picked up a win over the Jaguars, but still a lot of season left to play. Owner and general manager Jerry Jones weighed in after the game as his team moves closer to the halfway point of the season.
They gave us everything that we could hope wanted or not wouldn't want. But that drive in the third quarter, I think, really showed a lot of resolve and really showed the will of the team. And so I'm proud of them. I'm proud for Dak. I'm proud of the guys that made the plays. Williams to come in there and have his game that he had, young players. They get to feel it. They know they can do it. We're going to build from that. So really an outstanding game, a tough game. Who would have thought a game would be that tough? And that score ended up like it did, but that's what happened.
What did you assess Dak's performance?
Oh, I thought Dak did. I thought the way Dak played was the team. The team had that. We had tough competition out there. They were making it hard for us any way you wanted to measure it. And I thought we hung in there. At the end of the day, you probably can say we depend on the turnovers. But what you could say is that that defense, the skills of the defense prevailed. So let us make those big plays. Let's make those turnovers. And then Turpin really provided us really, if you will, I think you just know it's there. When's it coming? And so that helps you in a football game.
Okay. I know what you're waiting for, the return of Dak Prescott, but how did he stack up in his return behind center? We check in with QB1 when we return on Cowboys Flashback.
Dallas Cowboys Flashback, presented by Reliant, is brought to you by AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and by Reliant, an NRG company. This segment is brought to you by AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back to Cowboys Flashback. We're going to flash back to week 1 of the season. Dak Prescott ruled out in the 4th quarter. We eventually learned he'd be sidelined for 4 to 6 weeks with a broken thumb. Now fast forward to Sunday afternoon, and the play caller was back in action for the Cowboys. He threw for 207 yards and 1 touchdown in the win. But just how normal did it feel for Prescott?
Yeah, it felt great. I felt comfortable with everything. Thumb definitely didn't bother me. Wasn't a thought in my head. Felt like after a few throws, I was back into it. And that drive before halftime, I felt like I made a few that just said, hey, we're good to go. Don't think about anything again. And so I felt fine. But this is about the team. This is a great team win. This is what I've been watching for the last 5 weeks. This defense, the special teams, and just us playing complementary football. And it was just it's just great to be back and be a part of it.
Were you juiced on that first throw, a little hard to know?
Honestly, when I came out, there's supposed to be a tight end also getting free, got knocked off, I guess, on his route. And initially in my head, I was thinking to run, and then Noah flashes. And then, so that's kind of why the ball placement was there. But, yeah, I mean, obviously you want that back. But then again, it's part of maybe next time I run, I'll probably still be running. So.
Dak, Ed Werder, ESPN. You mentioned the defense. What's the value of a defense that can plays like this one does every week and takes the ball away so often to a quarterback like you?
Yeah, it's huge. You understand the overall picture of this game and knowing that our defense is going to help us out, and it's important for us to make sure those turnovers pay off, or those long kick returns, as we weren't able to do that one, or punt return, that one that Turpin had, but. Just knowing that, just play within the game. Don't try to do too much. Know that you've got, as I said, a defense to help you out. If it's 3rd down, you've got to throw it away, live for another down, and play the field position. And these guys, we know when we score touchdowns and we get ahead, these guys can pin their ears back and go do what they do and create turnovers.
Hey, Dak. Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. Can you talk a little bit about what it means for the defense to, as far as getting them juiced up, to be able to reward their takeaways with touchdowns?
Yeah, that's playing complementary football. When those guys go out there and get turnovers, it's important for us to make sure that we get points out of that. That's how you win games, and that's how you blow games, blow them away, honestly. And the way this D-line and the way the secondary and just the linebackers, honestly, the whole group, just the way that how hungry they are, the way that they attack. Special C, as I said, is something that I saw, obviously, in training camp. I've seen it in these last 5 weeks, and it's just great to be able to go out there and be a part of them.
Dak, Mike Leslie from WFA. Early on in the football game, there were a couple of instances where you threw into double coverage, maybe triple coverage. How much of that was just kind of being amped up and wanting to go out there and make a play, and how did you feel about how you eventually settled in and found your spot?
Yeah, I think once I made some throws and I knew as I said, my thumb was good, and I felt like I had the spin back that I've had and the confidence. Some of those throws were just overconfident in a sense, and I've got to guard against that. Just because sometimes it can lead to turnovers, and that's the last thing I'm trying to do is put this team in a bad position because I'm overconfident. And as I said, when you have a defense like this, understand, just continue to go through the reads, take a check down here and there, and it'll pay off.
19 of 25 completed passes for Prescott and a 113.2 passer rating. He still hasn't lost to Detroit as a starter. He's now tossed 9 touchdowns against the Lions in his career. And while Sunday wasn't a perfect performance, his teammates were just excited to have him back on the field, especially the tight ends. When we return on Cowboys Flashback, my conversation with Payton Hendershot.
This segment was brought to you by AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Dak's first touchdown in 2022 was also rookie Payton Hendershot's first career touchdown. I spoke with the tight end after the game about that special moment. On National Tight Ends Day, you can't make it up. Payton Hendershot with his first career touchdown. Payton, that's where I'm starting first. Just walk me through that play and how excited it was to get in the end zone.
We had ran a similar play a couple plays before, and I knew my guy who was guarding me was going to bite on it, so I just blocked down real quick and then ran it over and was wide open and just like, please throw me the ball.
You told Jake last week, because he scored his first touchdown, you told him on the sideline, I'm next.
Yeah.
How cool was it to make that come to fruition?
No, and it was awesome because all the tight ends were out there, so just being able to celebrate with them and just soak the whole moment in, it was very awesome.
I know you've been asked this already, but just the impact that Dak brings to that side of the ball, what did you feel today?
Just his confidence and poise. He just makes us, all of our jobs, all 10 other players, way easier. You know what I'm saying? He takes the burden and puts more on his plate to make our jobs easier, and he's just the best leader and the best quarterback you could ask or wish for.
And you talk about a guy making an impact in a game. Dalton Schultz coming to life today. He's kind of y'all's big brother, right?
Yeah, no, and it was just good. You know what I'm saying? He's been battling through injuries, battling through, a lot of stuff, and it was just good to finally see him get some balls and just show his abilities and what he brings to our team.
So you've got a touchdown now.
Yep.
Jake has a touchdown now.
Yep.
We're waiting on Dalton to get on the scoreboard. Is there competition at all between you guys?
No, but I just think, we come in with the same mindset every day, just, to compete and just get better every day, and I think it's elevated all of our games, and hopefully, we keep doing this week in and week out, and hopefully by the end of the season we're the best tight end position room in the NFL.
So you guys get the win, get back in the win column next week. You've got Chicago before the bye. What are some goals you have in that last game before a break?
Just, I feel like our offense, we still haven't put a full game together, so hopefully this last game we can, show the world and our team who we are and really, come out and hitting on all cylinders.
First career touchdown for Payton Hendershot. Give it up for this guy. Payton, congratulations.
Thank you.
We love hearing from Payton Hendershot. Dalton Schultz also rekindling his relationship with Prescott. He finished the afternoon a perfect 5 for 5 for 49 yards. Another impressive outing, though, for the running game. We're hurtling into the break before we check in with Zeke. That's next on Cowboys Flashback.
This segment was brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Here's a handoff to Elliott. Big hole on the right. He hurdled a guy to the 45 and then taken off his feet by Okudah at the 48-yard line. That's old Zeke.
There are a lot of ways to describe running back Ezekiel Elliott, but the first one that comes to mind after Sunday's game, tough. Zeke was a little banged up but managed to make that spectacular play you just saw, finding the end zone twice for the first time this season. 15 carries for 57 yards and 2 scores. A successful afternoon for the ball carrier.
We knew they were going to play hard. We just kind of had to tire them out a little bit, and that's what those rushing attempts do. You lean on them, and it starts to become a little bit easier, and you start getting those explosives. So, I think we just had to, stick with it, which we did, and those big ones start popping.
How did it feel to get in the end zone twice? First time in a while you've done that.
Yeah, it felt good to get in the end zone twice. Big fellas, they wanted to run it down there. Kellen called it.
How about getting Dak back? We talked about it for weeks now. How did it feel to get Ford back in there?
It felt great having Ford back. He was ready. We love having our leader out there. And, defense, they did a great job taking that ball away, and we just had to, not mess it up at that point.
It's a sign of a good team that you guys can win games when it's not clicking early.
I think that's kind of how the year's been going. It's been grimy, tough games. It's the NFL, so you're not going to have any give-me's. But, when the defense plays the way they do, when they go and take the ball away like that, it's really hard for us to lose.
I think you guys scored all 3 touchdowns off of takeaways. What can you say about just how much a recipe for winning that is?
Yeah, we know if we take the ball away, we gotta score on those opportunities when we get it. So I think we did a good job as an offense scoring and making those turnovers count.
His first multi-touchdown game since 2021 against Washington last December. So feed Zeke, but save a bite or two for Tony Pollard as well. Another productive day for him with 83 yards, completing that 1-2 punch. And would you look at the time? It's Turpin time. What an outstanding performance from the rookie returner. 2 key punt returns for 66 yards, but the one that had everyone on their feet at AT&T Stadium, the 52-yarder that could have been the one. It was the second longest punt return by a player this season. And Turbo Turpin is the only player this year with multiple 50-yard returns, including last week's 63-yard kick return against the Eagles. So safe to say he's a weapon for the Dallas offense. That's an understatement, right? But the real weapon, as always, that Dallas Cowboys defense. We're breaking down just how good they were coming up next on Cowboys Flashback.
Dallas Cowboys Flashback, presented by Reliant, was brought to you by AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Reliant, an NRG company. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.
2nd and 5 at the Dallas 18. Goff under center. He will play fake, throw a little screen on the left side. Hockenson, a right, 10, 5, block on Diggs, pylon. Waiting for a sign.
Yeah, they're conferring. I thought he got it. Nope, they got him marked down.
1 yard line.
What more can they do? Every week it seems like the defense continues to step up their game, and Sunday's game was no exception. No touchdowns allowed by the defense, and the third game where they allowed just 10 points or less this season. Another big game from Micah Parsons, including that touchdown-stopping tackle he made in the second half. He spoke with us after the game.
I mean, is that sign of it right there, that you're not going to give up even when it looks like the guy's going to score, he's 10 yards ahead of you, and that's leadership too.
Yeah. You know, I tell people, you know, I'm gonna be tired, but you're gonna be more tired than me because I'm never gonna stop. You know, and I practice that way. I work that way, just being relentless, understanding that anything can happen on the field, and you know, emphasizing that. Besides, it's Shark Week. You know.
DQ talked a couple of weeks ago about how as good as you guys have been, didn't feel like you guys have shown your full potential yet. He's in moments in Seattle where he saw his defense has reached that moment. 5 takeaways and a half. Does that feel like maybe one of those types of moments showing what you guys are totally capable of?
Yeah, in terms of finishing, never giving up, the goal line, creating that turnover, just dominating in the second half. It obviously definitely shows glimpses. It shows what we're capable of, where we're heading, and that's a great way to get things back on track.
There was Dak the heartbeat. What was it like to get him back, and what did you see?
It was great to have Dak back. You know, knowing that you got someone on offense that got your back. I mean, he did his thing today. Super happy to have him back. You know, prayed over him this week. You know, I was like, you know, I asked God to just bless him and, you know, make sure he just did his thing, what he knows how to do.
There was a flag thrown on a play where you were getting help. Were you surprised to see that happen?
Yeah, I asked the ref. The first flag I got all year, I was like, God damn. I hope you didn't even say. He said, it's right there on the floor. I was like, oh, shit. It's to the point I was surprised, you know. But, you know, that's just continue to just keep going forward. Understanding that I'm not always going to get the call. But when I do, I mean, I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, I should probably have 50 calls this year.
It looked like there were some moments early on in the game where you were a little frustrated with the pass rush. You finally got home and got the strip sack there late. How much of a release was that for you?
Not so much a release, just understanding the situation. We got to understand that teams don't want to drop back against us. They understand the weapons we have on this defense, and you know, it's just more frustrating. Trying to adjust to new game plans every week. You know, obviously we're going to face a lot of run. A lot of teams aren't just going to drop back against us. So it's just more of that, and then once we get them to those downs that we can get them to, that's when we got to go eat and finish.
What's the feeling in this locker room right now? I mean, everyone just seems so juiced up, especially coming on the last week to bounce back like this. What's the feeling?
It's feeling great. You know, I think, you know, last year people gave us the memo of, you know, when the teams we're supposed to beat, we tend to lay off, but this was a statement one for us, letting us know it don't matter who comes here, we got to come to play.
Dallas recorded 5 takeaways in the second half. The last time that happened back in 1993 during the Super Bowl win over the Buffalo Bills. They finished the afternoon with 42 tackles, including 5 for loss and 5 sacks, and no one with a more impactful performance than defensive end Sam Williams. Another rookie turning heads while lighting up the stat sheet. 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hurries, as well as a forced fumble and a fumble recovery. Dak Prescott said this is the most talented rookie class he's seen during his time in the NFL. And so far, the Cowboys rookies are answering the call. So it's a 24-6 win for the Dallas Cowboys, and all smiles here on Victory Monday. But listen, the preparation for next week has already begun. The boys are back at home for a noon kickoff against the Chicago Bears. Stick with us this week as we get you ready for that matchup. Until then, that'll do it for us here on Cowboys Flashback. I'm Haley Sutton. We will see you next week.